Video on Demand. I'm Kerry Hines. My guest is natural hair artist and a self-sculptor, and we're going to find out a whole lot more about that. I'd like to welcome Shaquora R-Bey of R-Bey Designs. Welcome and good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Kerry, for having me this morning.
It's my pleasure. So, Shaquora, tell us, how did you get started in the hair industry?
I can go back to being 11 years old, and I used to braid the other children's hair in the neighborhood. I did it just for fun. I had a cousin that was 2 years younger than me, and I would cornrow her hair, and I would beat it up, you know, when you used to put aluminum foil on the ends.
Okay, you're going back. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm going back.
Okay.
And so then I think that the parents paid attention, and they would literally come and knock on the door with their children right before school would start. It's like, well, you know, can she do, you know,
Really?
my daughter's hair? And they would pay me. I was 11.
So you have money.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really realize the significance of that, but it was something that has always been available to me. Just being, I guess, creative and talented from a young child. The parents and other people around me recognized that talent in me, and they supported me in that.
Wow.
So yeah, I was 11 years old. I was doing cornrow styles, putting beads on children's hair, making money.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had to come up with a lot of these designs yourself, and
Yeah. Well, what I did was I was a great at mimicking other styles that I saw other people wear. It's like, oh, I could do that, and so yeah, I would execute, and it was good enough that people would bring their children to me, and I was a child myself.
isn't that something?
But yeah.
But that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. Well, really, I think it really started before then, maybe as early as 5 years old. Because
5? Now how?
Yeah.
Tell us how.
Well, it's really interesting because I would braid my doll's hair. I have a aunt who lived in Jersey, and she would come at least every 2 weeks, once a month, and every time she'd bring me Barbie dolls, me and my cousin. And so I had my dolls, her dolls, and I started braiding their hair. But I studied these dolls. I studied the anatomy. It was mostly Barbie dolls. I even had a Baby Alive. It was just really into. I even had.
I've heard that name.
I even had a Flip Wilson doll, Flip Wilson Geraldine doll.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was always like amazed at.
It was actually the Geraldine version of the Flip.
Well, it was Flip Wilson on one
on
side, and on the other side, it was him in the suit, and you flip it over, and it was Geraldine. And it also had a voice box, so you pull the string, and it would say the outrageous things that Geraldine would say. It was really interesting.
Yes, well, there's something about.
I'm telling my age, but
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, no, but this is very. Yeah, but this is very.
So
interesting.
my first clients probably were my dolls.
Wow, that's amazing, and that's an interesting way to look at it. And
Yeah.
you grew up where?
Right here in Brooklyn.
In Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
Okay, all
Yes.
right. Now, but you've also traveled a bit doing locks and doing natural hair.
Yes, I've lived in California, Los Angeles, California.
All right. Shout out to LA, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I've lived in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
I taught natural hair at Central Piedmont Community College for 2 years.
Okay.
I set up a business, a natural hair business, lock solutions and alternatives.
Oh.
And yeah, it was pretty great.
So I want to find out what was the what did you find in doing locks over the years in these different cities? Like, was there any common thread, or was there anything that you noticed out in California that is a little done differently here in New York?
When I was in California, that was in '86, and they were amazing because that's the first time I'd seen beehive braided styles. I remember sitting on the bus behind a lady. She didn't know it, but I was all in her hair. I was like, wow, how.
And I lived in LA, so I know when somebody's, when you're on those buses and how all that works.
But what I find to be like a common thread is there's quality workmanship. And so that's something that I've always wanted to strive for. Is excellent work. To be exceptional in my work.
And good quality never goes out of style.
Never, ever.
So in talking about natural hair, and over the years, and I've known Shaquora for a long, long, long time. We're not going to give our ages away at this point, but I do want to talk about how the industry has changed from the time you came onto the scene versus now.
Yeah, well, so locks weren't very popular, especially for corporate America. And
tell us why you think that was the case.
Why wasn't it popular in corporate America? I think that it was looked upon as sort of like dreads or unkept.
Or dreadful.
Dreadlocks,
or something. Okay.
Like, Rastafarian, type of hairstyle, which wasn't about really neat locks. It wasn't so meticulous. It was just free, let it just grow out your head and do what it want to do. But that wasn't what I was attracted to, and it wasn't what I was introduced to. When I was introduced to locks, it was manicured and it was polished. And so, that's where I began, with a polished look.
Now, the industry back in the mid-'90s seemed to me to be focused not on so much the cosmetics of natural hair artistry, if you will, but more connecting it to some kind of socio type of experience, if you will. It seems that it has kind of moved or shifted, if you will,
it really
to
has.
a more. But so tell us in your words, what do you think about that? Do you think it has shifted from?
Absolutely. You cut on the TV and you see locks, you see natural hairstyles. That wasn't always the case. So we've definitely grown. Every ethnicity. I've locked Asian hair. I've locked Caucasian hair. It's across the board. And so, locks are pretty universal.
Now tell everybody a little bit more about the styles and what you guys offer. And I also want to let folks know that you are a big part of Sophisticated Lock Salon in Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that, what you find at the salon and that experience.
So Sophisticated Lock Salon, which is located 328 Lewis Avenue, right in the heart of Bed-Stuy.
Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn,
we must tell everybody.
Right. Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
And so we offer all types of natural hair designs, from braids, cornrows, locks, lock extensions. We do restorative services, lock repair, lock care and repair. And we work with color, we work with beads. I've made lock jewelry for adornment of the lock, embellishing them, and styling.
Wow, that's amazing.
We do a lot of work.
And it's a beautiful salon there. We have to shout out the staff there, so shout out
my
to the
daughter.
team.
I work with my daughter, Faja Wali, and she is amazing. She has studied me from a young child. I tutored her and I taught her natural hair, but she took it a step further.
Really?
And she went to Empire Beauty School.
Oh, okay.
Where she got her.
And they've been around a long time.
Yes. So she's a colorist and also a barber.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, okay, I have to jump in there. In the natural world, I found some over the years who say, okay, no coloring.
Right.
And then I found others who are color experts. How do you feel about that, and what's your take on it?
I'm great with color. I love color, and it's an individual decision. We don't do anything that's going to be harmful to anyone. And so we also offer, like I said, restorative services. Okay. So with color also comes steam treatments, which help to hydrate your hair and scalp to keep it healthy, and that type of thing. So color is wonderful, and you don't always have to color treat your hair there's all types of way to add color to your hair without actually treating it. You know, a lot of people work with yarn, which
Yes.
yeah, that comes
I've
in
seen
a
that. Yes.
rainbow of colors that you can you know.
So it gives the
attach to hair.
illusion of the coloring when it's not necessarily,
Right.
instead of the chemical type stuff that we are
Right.
used to.
Right. And we do have people who, you know, prefer henna, you know, to
Like
as far
rinses.
as, yeah, henna rinses, you know, as opposed to, you know, the peroxide or whatever else is
Right.
offered. And so, you know, we try to accommodate people, and we try to educate them as well, as to what's the best option. You know, we give them all the options, and we try to listen to people and what their issues are, because it's not like a cookie cutter type of situation.
Right,
you know.
everyone's
Yeah, it's
different.
not one size fits all. You know, everyone has come with their own story and their own situation.
Okay. And now, and I love that you guys do the restorative or restorative type services there.
Right.
Very, very big.
There's
especially
a lot
these
of
days.
damaged locks, natural hair period.
There's just a lot of damage.
There's a lot of
period.
damage, and so we're trying to reverse that as much as we can. Some people have, you know, irreversible alopecia,
Right.
and even still, we will give them a steam treatment in combination with all natural products that I make myself.
Make?
Yeah, the
Okay.
pomades and the oils and stuff like that. I kind of make them myself
Okay. Wow.
to help to, you know, with all natural organic products, so that, you know, their hair can receive some nurturing
Right.
to kind of, you know.
That's right. And that can make all the difference, obviously, in
Absolutely.
the world.
Absolutely.
When we look at where the hair industry is today,
Yes.
we're talking about folks who, we kind of alluded to it earlier, where it seems like it's a little bit more cosmetic in terms of natural hair. Just, you know, folks are wearing it just because it's the latest trend. It didn't start out as being the trend. So what is your take on it today?
Well, today,
Yes. Where
it's
we are
like everyone is going natural because it's a healthier choice. Like I said, there's a lot of abuse. People have been abusing their hair with putting glue tracks for weaves, or braids that are too tight that, you know, take out your hairline and that type of thing.
Traction, alopecia.
Yeah, traction alopecia, and so they're left with, you know, frayed hair, and so that natural hair is the best remedy for that, to help reverse some of the damage if it's caught in time. So yeah, so you know, braids, locks, double strand twists, those are styles that aren't they don't I mean, if it's done correctly, it doesn't have to be done so tightly with so much tension that you're compromising your hair. But yeah, natural hair is it's big.
It's big today.
It's big in the world. Yeah, it's grown. Everyone wants
It has.
wants in on natural hair.
That's right. Yeah, like what
Everyone.
you just said. Okay, so we'll get into that a little bit because that's very interesting. And, you know, in talking about natural hair, and not just natural hair, but all hair, the one common thread should be healthy hair.
Absolutely.
And if, you know, if everybody can have that in mind, and I think most of the hair community, that is the goal, is to make sure your hair is healthy.
Absolutely.
It really should be in all cases.
It should be.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it should be. And that's what we strive for, you know, helping people. And you have some people who they, you know, you give them the advice and you know, and they can take it, or sometimes they don't. They'll go, because they'll come in with an idea or a picture.
Yes.
They'll say, this is what I want. But it's
you
not
know.
going to reflect with what they have going on. It's like impossible.
Wow. So what do you say to them in that case?
I'm not going to, I'm not going to lie to anyone. I'm going to be honest with them. So this is wonderful, but I don't think that you can achieve this.
Okay. And what happens? Are they receptive to that, or?
Most people are receptive to the truth.
Okay.
Some people, they say thank you, and then they go somewhere and they get it.
Oh, they try to, yes, because
Yeah.
you know
And
what,
I've
there's
had
always
people that
somebody
do
out
that.
there.
It's like, your
who-
hair is too thin for this style, right? like a silky lock, which is a
Yes.
double process. So it's first braided and then that braid is wrapped, right? Now that's pretty, you got to have
You have
really
to have strong
strong
hair.
roots for that. And so it's like your hair is thin.
You can't get-
I wouldn't recommend that you do this. And they say thank you, and then they go somewhere else.
Who will do it?
They'll do it, and
And
then their hair falls out, and then they come back and they say, "Oh my gosh, look, my hair came out, and what could you do for me now?"
And then you've got to help them.
I try to help them as much as I
best-
can.
Right.
Yeah.
But then they end up spending a whole lot more
Right.
for restorative care, if you will,
Right.
as opposed to listening to you in the first
Right.
place.
And I start with the truth. It's not about turning a dollar. It's like, well, I'm just going to give them whatever, make this money. No,
And
it's not. It's much more.
speaking of which, so you obviously you have a big following, and that's because you've been at this for a while, a good amount of time.
Yeah.
And you're acclaimed, being what we call the winner and an award winner out there for all these different types of. What are some of the awards that you've won?
Well, recently, September 2015, I was awarded a Master Pioneer Award. Ambassador Diane Bailey from Shea Moisture, she nominated me for the Master Pioneer Award.
Shout out to Diane and all of those folks. Yes.
Yeah.
So how was that, and what was that about?
That was about acknowledging people who've been in the industry and, who've been doing this work, this great work. They acknowledged me and I think 7 other people who have, really made a name for themselves and, have been in this industry for so long. And so it was a wonderful event that was held at LIU Cumble Theater. And it was
You kinda
wonderful.
brought it all together.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. They gave me a Master Pioneer Award. I was also given a citation from the state of New York for outstanding community service,
Okay.
which was wonderful
Wow.
to be, acknowledged by your peers for outstanding work and citizenship.
Well, Shaquora R-Bey, I want to say
Citizenship.
thank you again. And we're going to have you to kind of stay with us because I want to find out in this next segment about these soft sculptures. So we've got to talk about that.
Absolutely.
More to come.
Yes.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.